with the lead. They're getting a little wobbly.
Justin Chapman rebound. Robbie Ryan for three. She hits it, and we are tied.
Terry's three.
Johnny Walker matching up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2.
He drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse.
Wow.
5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edward pulls off and buries the puck.
Daniels takes the shot for Kirby.
Welcome into, pardon me, welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratanudo at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. It is Pitchfork Lunch, and yes, a ton of fun stuff going on in Sun Devil country, y'all, and I am here to get you completely caught up on that because, come on, what else better is there than Sun Devil Nation? We know this. So that being said, you can check out the show here on X. You can also go to my IG, michael.caratanudo.5. It streams live there every day. Also, come on, Pitchfork Lunchers. You know I tell you this every day. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. You have missed some awesome interviews. Again, nothing to do with me, but just the phenomenal Sun Devils that we have on. And we're going to be getting more on too from different sports. Looking forward to talking some women's water polo. If you've ever been out to water polo, and again, it's not just me selling a sport. Like, yeah, I'm a sports nerd, but like just watching it and when you see it in the Olympics, which by the way, Summer Olympics coming up in Paris, and the Sun Devils, Leon Marchand will be representing his home country in France, as he has just been crushing it in Sun Devil country. So I look forward to checking that out this summer, but to getting to talk to Coach Bowman, Leon, some of his teammates, men's and women's tennis, also men's and women's golf. But water polo, I digress to that, is just always been my favorite, literally one of my favorites to watch in the Olympics, because again, the strength, skill, everything, like it is funny. Like when they call fouls and they show like the underwater cam, I mean, you would think everything is a foul, which would really, really slow down and kill the pace of water polo. But yeah, it's awesome to watch. Love water polo. So look forward to talking to them. Also, obviously, women's lacrosse, women's soccer getting back on the field as well, too. Well, training for the fall, but training here in the spring, which, outside the last few days, a little overcast, little rain for Arizona. No, I know those of you out there that don't live in Arizona, and I'm not saying it's a true rainstorm, but it did. If it goes for more than 10 minutes in a spot, technically that is pouring and coming down, because it might last just like 5 minutes, and that's about it. But that's just one of those things where when like I said, outside the last few days, it's normally easy to train here this time of year. Oh, look what we got today. Little simplistic. I know, old school. I went throwback, with the Under Armour, but yeah, got Sparky there hanging out. So, anywho, but yeah, baseball and softball going to be getting started up next month. So yeah, it will be really awesome. We'll have more coming out from there as well. Last time we were out of baseball was very awesome. Was Halloween and their costume party scrimmage that Coach Bloomquist had, again, just to kind of lighten up the. They always say the dog days of summer, but the for college baseball, you could say kind of the dog days of fall ball, where yeah, they're obviously excited to be out there, but at the same time, scrimmaging, seeing the same guys or team. But yeah, that was the Halloween costume party was phenomenal that Coach Bloomquist had going on. So I will take you around all of it. I will be out at a good amount of stuff, and I will take you around all of it. So again, go to the YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe. Because look, it's one of those things where when you miss interviews and miss shows, you're going to want to see them. You're going to want to catch up and get to know some, obviously, players, all that good stuff. But I will say this, subscribe to it. So at MVC005, Pitchfork Lunch, forks up all day long. You know it. We love Sun Devil Nation. So what we're going to get to on this show is heard from Coach Hurley yesterday, obviously about, the bounce back victory against SC. But now that they are headed up to Oregon to take on the Ducks and then the Beavers, the Pac-12 standings are very interesting. UCLA almost did ASU and Oregon a favor by beating Arizona. They were up by 19 points. UCLA was up by 19 points and could not hang on. But that's why Arizona's the number 9 team in the country. So Arizona, yes, that team down south, Oregon and ASU are all 5-2 in conference play. Colorado, Utah, and Stanford are 5-3. 5-3, and then the Cougs, Washington State is 4-4. The Huskies and the Bruins and the Golden Bears are 3-5. The Trojans are 2-6 and loaded with injuries. So if guys coming back, it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of charge USC can make. They're just shorthanded. And then Oregon State, the Beavers are 1-6. So the Devils start with the Ducks tomorrow. And yeah, the Devils start with the Ducks tomorrow and then have the Beavers on Saturday. Look, that game against Oregon, again, and you'll hear Coach Hurley talk about it. Is it huge? But it can't just be all chips for Oregon and then have a letdown against Oregon State. Now, it is going to be a tough game against Oregon as they fell. The Mountain Schools trip was tough for the Ducks as they fell to Colorado and then lost to Utah 80-77. Now, look, I know I'm not going to speak out of both sides of my mouth. Utah at home, good luck anybody in the Pac-12 beating them, and even Arizona. I'm just going to say that right now. Utah at home, I mean, that crowd is always just rocking, and it's a tough place to play, but nonetheless, Oregon fell there. So the Devils go up there 11-7 overall. Like I said, 5-2 in conference play. I mean, if you could sweep the Oregon schools, put it this way, if both Arizona schools sweep the Oregon schools, they're going to come out of the weekend tied for first. And they would have a substantial lead. Yes, it depends on, Utah and what they do against the Washington schools, Colorado as well. So, yeah, I mean, even Stanford, as they they just have the one game this week, but it is rivalry game, and they are taking on Cal. So it's interesting, but you win and you control your own destiny. You stay up top of the Pac-12. Like I said, they go to Oregon and they sweep, phenomenal. They split. They're still in very good shape. You lose both, you're in very, very, very tough shape real quick. But we don't think that way. Why? Because we are in, me. I got the maroon and gold shaded glasses on that I watch, that I see life through with our Sun Devils Pitchfork Lunchers. So, but yeah, huge trip to the Oregon schools. The women's hoops teams have the Northern Cal, the Bay Area schools coming down. Tara Vonderveer, obviously just became the all-time winningest coach in Division I basketball, men's or women's. All these years at Stanford. I got a little, and we'll hear from Coach Hurley on that as well too, because again, he's busy with this team and their season and what they have going on the men's side, but you definitely know what's going on. News like that comes across. So I actually got a little extra from Coach Hurley yesterday talking about that. And it was just, I mean, it's cool to see. And again, respect for what, Coach is doing. Obviously his former coach, Mike Krzyzewski, was was there, but yeah, Tara Vonderveer, just absolutely insane. All that time at Stanford too. So Coach really gave her a shout out there, but yeah, big trip for the Devils. The women, like I said, they have, on the men's side, the Bay Area schools will take on Stanford first on Friday and then Cal on Sunday. And then, that's what they have. And then also hockey off. Remember, this is their weekend off, which again came at a very good time. Their last victory, they split with Augustana last weekend from South Dakota, but got the win on Saturday into the break, took that momentum, and again, 10 games left, and we'd love to see them win all 10. And there's 2 trips up to Alaska within that, as they take on Alaska Fairbanks and then Alaska Anchorage, but 2 separate trips up to Alaska. So that is awesome. Wonder if I could, talk to Coach Power, see if I take a show on the road, do it up there. If they could include me, that would be phenomenal. But hockey has that left. Obviously, men's and women's golf getting started. Water polo, like I said, 4-0. Men's and women's tennis. Like I said, it is just a rocking time. Newcomers coming in, spring ball getting going, hoops and all that stuff. So yeah, we got a lot going on. So, but yeah, I'm going to step aside, and when we get back, we will hear what Coach Hurley had to say yesterday about his team's obviously trip up to Oregon, where they're at, and how they're battling in the Conference of Champions for one last year. Well, as we know it, we'll see what happens going forward. If these schools ever reunited in the next, after about 5 years, I would be all for it. Just saying. But yeah, we're going to step aside, and then we'll hear from Coach Hurley on the other side here on Pitchfork Lunch.
Audio Jungle.
Welcome back to Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Check out the show there, the IG Live, Michael.Caratino.5, and also on the YouTube. Subscribe to that channel. Like I've said, you've missed a ton. It's at Emmons and Michael V's and Victory C's and Cat005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. All right, we are going to hear from head coach Bobby Hurley again, coming off the split with the LA schools. Obviously, yes, we've beat that issue into the ground. The meltdown against UCLA, the technical foul fiesta, and what that came about, because dominating UCLA for 85% of the game. Turned around, beat USC, absolutely phenomenal, absolutely love it. So, yes, but now, to quote the great Belichick, Coach Belichick, we're on to the Oregon schools. We're on to Oregon. But yes, Coach Hurley again did have a lot to say yesterday, and was asked a lot yesterday. But we will hear from him as he talks about obviously going up to Oregon. You know, tough environments. Oregon, a tough environment playing. And yes, last time is Pac-12 foes, because Oregon and Washington, of course, bolting for the Big Ten, along with USC and UCLA. And then we have the Sun Devils, that team down south, Utah and Colorado, all headed to the Big 12. Stanford and Cal, who are on the Pacific, right against the Pacific Ocean, headed to the Atlantic Coast Conference, the ACC, next year. So it is just a mess. But nonetheless, it's one of those things where, you know, we have that. So, but without further ado, again, Coach Hurley talking about the Oregon schools. And if you have any, thoughts, you know where to hit me up. But yeah, here is Coach Hurley from yesterday.
Plays extremely high IQ guy, understands his game, really has a great understanding of who he is as a player and what he brings. So he's mature, he's older, so it's great for our team, and he's different. He's unique in ways that we could utilize his skill set on offense to help us score the basketball. He's the one. I mean, we don't throw it inside very often, and that's just how our roster is built. And we threw it in a lot more last year, and I think Sean's injury had something to do with that, and hopefully we can see him grow and develop. But Jose gives us the opportunity at his position to strategically get him the ball in high percentage areas to get a shot in the lane.
You talk about Sean and his injury, and earlier in the season you talked about him kind of coming back on a minutes restriction. Is he still working through that minutes restriction? Is it something where he still has to earn his minutes back?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sean is just, it's gonna depend game to game. I think this is a game that we need Sean. You're playing a guy like Dante, as big as he is. He's our most physical presence we have on the roster, and so really need him to step up in this game, certainly. And there's no extreme pressure on Sean. Like, it's he's our youngest player. I think he's going to get better and better. I think it's going to be game to game with how things go. Does he avoid foul trouble and other things that would prevent him from getting more minutes? So it's just it'll kind of be game to game with him.
To be sitting in a tie for first about a third of the way through conference play, and you feel like you've largely played winning games and there's 2 losses even, is that enough of a sample size for you to feel good and believe that you guys can be there at the end?
Just, I think, where everyone is in the standings, you can never be comfortable. So if you say to yourself, "Oh, we're in good shape right now," then look out. So I always have my guard up as we go through the season and want to. But you have to feel okay. I've won 2 road games, true road games. Playing some good teams. The mountains are good this year. The LA's here is never easy. So we played some challenging games and been able to, to stay right now at the moment at the top of the standings. So we just got to keep fighting and keep battling to stay there.
You talked before about keeping your composure, and obviously the USC game, you guys did a phenomenal job of that. I think the guys can look back on that and say, gosh, look how good we can be if we do just focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, I think we showed quite a bit more maturity and discipline in that game, and just focused on playing basketball and executing. And it was a beautiful thing to watch at times. Just seeing the crowd like that, seeing the student section like that, just getting that energy, feeding off it. The way we finished the first half with the explosive plays that we made, and just seeing the crowd get used. Watching our guys perform, watching Frankie dunk it, watching Jemiah in the open floor. It's just it's exciting when we're playing that kind of basketball.
Just having that composure kind of stem from knowing that you guys got to maximize your schedule moving forward to get to the tournament and maximize your resume. That kind of stem from that.
I just think that it was the ultimate brutal wake up call, like to lose the way we did, knowing that we felt we put forth a winning basketball performance, but things outside of basketball prevented us from winning the game. It forced everyone to just say, like, all right, guys, we're not talking to officials anymore. We're not talking to our opponent. Let's just talk to each other. Now, can we be perfect in that regard the rest of the way? I mean, I don't know. That remains to be seen. But like, I do know that was a focal point of our conversations internally, going into the USC game.
I saw that Frankie talked to Bryant on the court right after he got his technical, and it seems like people are kind of rallying around him a little bit as a leader at this point. What are the attributes that you see that make him that guy?
Yeah, he's just, I think, at peace with himself and in a really good space with his confidence and his production. The more you produce and play well, you have more ability to lead, and people will generally listen to you more. But I think, like, even Frankie's got, he's smart about what he does. Like, he reacted to a call, I think, during the USC game, and then as he went towards the ref, he put a big smile on his face and started, communicating that way. So, like, just how you handle those situations, I think he's got a really good feel. So I mean, I need more of that. We need more, internal, leadership on the floor, and I think Frankie's put himself in a position to have the respect of the coaching staff and his teammates to do that.
How do you try to stoke that, develop that more, given all your personal experience?
I just try and communicate with him and just encourage him to be a great leader and a point guard. And I think we've built a very strong connection, him and I, and I just have a ton of respect for who he's become, as a basketball player, and who he is as a person. He's a great kid. So our relationship is very strong, and I'm hopeful that he continues to take steps and want to be more than just someone that's out there playing basketball. Like, he's actually trying to run our team on the floor, he's a coach on the floor, and he's trying to help his teammates.
Coach, obviously the premier matchup this week is that night in Eugene. Have you given any thought towards that matchup against Oregon State?
Our general philosophy is to focus on the opponent that is right in front of us, and to give that opponent our full attention. And then, I mean, the guys understand that we're going to play 2 on the road, and there's 2 games out there, 2 opportunities, but all our energy and concentration right now is with Oregon.
And then, Coach, would you say with Frankie's, I mean, to kind of piggyback off Frankie's leadership, but because I know I asked you earlier in the season, I mean, Jose coming in late, he kind of had to get used to the guy. Having a veteran like Frankie help. Obviously, Adam being cleared and just kind of working his way into the offense. But do you feel that because of Frankie's leadership, that's why it seemed pretty seamless for both of those guys?
Yeah, I think there's something to that, and it's just, I talked a lot about trust, and kind of when we were struggling and getting on the same page and using terms like that. It's just, those guys are all, alpha type guys, so you have like Adam, you have, very productive players, very good careers, Jose, Frankie. It just takes some time for all those guys to find their place and find their voice in the leadership process.
After the USC game, Coach, Jemiah came in and said, defense really is good offense. When you guys are good on defense, you guys get out in transition, and that's what we love to do. He said he doesn't want to set up in a half-court offense, but when you guys are forced to set up in a half-court offense, what are those looks that you're going for, and how are you trying to be more successful in that area?
I think you're trying to just evaluate, game to game, like who's got a high hand, who we get the ball to that's playing well, who hasn't had a shot in a number of possessions that, can we get this guy a shot and get him going? I think it's been for us, Frankie, Jemiah kind of breaking guys down off the dribble to hit the paint, make plays. Adam coming off screens, looking to shoot the basketball. Jose in a variety of ways to get the ball in his hands. Good things have happened for us. Zoe just kind of roaming and playing off all those guys. I mean, that's been like our best offensive formula lately.
Coach, I'm curious, every season the team's different, we know that. From your perspective, what do you think has surprised you the most, whether it's good or bad about this year's team so far?
I mean, it's just, I think the good is that, we had so many issues, early in the season, and we had guys out, unavailable. We were struggling, and the way the guys just didn't give in and, made that commitment the last month. We've been a different basketball team, so it's, you don't want to be around or with people that give up or give in ever. So the fact that they approached it that way, that it meant enough for them to fight for their season the way they have the last month has been highly impressive to me. And I'm just hopeful that we keep seeing that we play the right way and are about the right things, that we're going to get good results.
It seems like Alonzo Gaffey's done a better job of picking his shots. There were games before he shoot 2 for 12 or whatever, but it seems like he's been better about picking and choosing his spots when he's shooting.
Yeah, I mean, now he's becoming a player that and I touched on this in prior, conversations with you guys about the shots he makes, key moments, and he had another couple of key baskets to kind of break the game open for us. A great touch shot in the paint, and then Frankie threw a beautiful pass that he nailed the shot. So we trust him. He's going to take certain shots. The impact of what he does is not reflected though in whether he makes shots or not. Like, he is a energy guy that is very unique with his length and the deflections, and what he brings to our pressure on the point of the press and stuff that he does is really doesn't always show up in the box score.
Coach, you mentioned last week how this is one of the more challenging years for the young side back in the Pac-12. Posed a little bit of a challenge on Wednesday with Sean and Bona, now facing another elite center like Dante. What do you want to see out of him to better contain himself composurely and then also adjusting basketball-wise?
Yeah, I mean, he's got his hands full with a guy like Dante, and he's not going to be on an island with him. We have to support him when he's in there, and certainly we trust him to go toe to toe with a guy in the post with his physical, athletic ability and size. But yeah, he needs the help of his teammates, and he's just practicing well. I think he learned a hard lesson in the UCLA game, and just his approach to practice has been better. He's been less demonstrative in how he talks in practice, and he's been more focused on playing basketball. So, I mean, that's been our message to him. But, yeah, I mean, I think over time he's got such a bright future. that we're going to, continue to support him and help him get to where he needs to get eventually.
And just your early thoughts on young guy like Jackson Schulstad and where he stands among the conference's needs.
Yeah, I mean, hats off. I mean, he could really shoot it. He's got great, I'm watching the game and I'm listening to the commentators talk about him, and it's what I'm looking at when I watch him is composure and poise for a freshman guard. He really seems to have that personality that he brings to the game. He doesn't seem to get rattled. He can really make shots, really good shot maker, and one of the good young players in our conference. I mean, college basketball is different than when I played, or some of my prior teams. It's COVID super seniors, mid-major guys transferring up to the power conference. Well, there aren't many freshmen that are having a great impact immediately as a freshman in the Pac-12 or a power conference. So that's a testament to how good of a player this kid is, that he's having that type of success already as a freshman at Oregon.
Coach, after Salamanca's game against USC, what are your expectations for him on this road trip?
Yeah, I mean, it's really the same. I mean, he was what we recruited him to be. He went after the basketball. He was relentless. He didn't get discouraged if he missed. He got his hands on the basketball again and went back up. And he gave us a huge lift. I mean, he's got to go out there and just outwork his opponent. And if he does that, he's had some really nice games for us when his mind is focused on that.
You guys have had an interim AD for a couple of months. Now Arizona has one too. I think probably purely.
What was that? What did you say?
Now you guys have had the interim AD. Now Arizona has one too. I think probably purely coincidental that the two big state schools have it. But does it strike you as interesting in any way? Is it something you pay attention to, or is it just like more of the season, not something?
I mean, I saw the report and I just, I was a little surprised at the timing of it, but other than that, I don't put a lot of stock into it. We all went through our situation and we're still in the midst of it, but outside of that, I don't really think about it too much.
Coach, since Thanksgiving, it's been kind of a season of runs for you guys. You guys win multiple or you lose multiple. It's kind of in that stretch. You guys have your one win streak going off the UCLA or USC game. What is going to be the key to maintaining that consistency and not allowing one loss turn into 2 to 3 to 4 losses?
Yeah, wish if I had all the answers to that question. I kind of look at things game by game, and just everything I'm thinking about is Oregon and how do we compete and give ourselves a chance in a very tough environment against a very good team. And when that game's over, then I'm gonna think about the next game in Corvallis and get to that. And then after that, I'll think about the next week. And so I don't know. These things run in cycles, and sometimes they're hard to predict or project. Like, we've been very good at home. We could be undefeated at home. Last year we had a hard time at home. We were very good on the road and neutrals. This year we didn't really win many neutral games so far, but we're winning at home. So I don't know.
Coach, back in Chicago, Coach Kimbrough helped lead the Ramblers team to the Sweet 16 against Illinois. Since he's joined your staff in 2021, how has he helped guys like Frankie get better on defense, or how has he changed your defensive schemes in general?
Yeah, I think when it comes to individual players like on defense, and Frankie's looking at me over there right now like, hey, you better say the right thing. But Frankie wants to play defense, and he wants to guard somebody. Takes pride in that under the floor. He's got great natural instincts. So and that's why you're seeing where his steal numbers are. But in terms of overall defensive philosophy and concepts and teaching those concepts and game planning for our opponent, he's lights out at that end, and just give him a lot of leeway to put together and develop those game plans defensively. Our players trust what he's teaching, and you're seeing that reveal itself on the floor.
All right,
thank you guys.
Thank you.
And there you heard it, Coach Hurley again talking what Frankie Collins means to the team. You heard Chris ask about the leadership, and for a point guard, obviously, yes, guys can play basketball, and they're like, oh, I'll just get out on the court and play. But Jose Perez coming in late, at least he got some practice. You all know that story, right? Pitchfork lunchers. But Sean Phillips Jr. starting the season, then getting banged up early, and him having to come back in. Adam Miller, obviously not was waiting for his waiver, and then with the court case now, guys with waivers can play. As it's appealed, and there'll be no penalties on the schools, which I have a whole side note to that, but we'll talk about that another day. But yeah, I mean, it's for Frankie Collins, obviously, you know, talk about the leader that he is and saying, yes, he wants to play defense. You have to want to play defense. And in this day and age of the NBA, and people can say, guys, yes, there are very talented scorers, but I mean, if you get by your initial guy, it's just like the defense is just absolutely terrible. So, like the other night, Joel Embiid scored 70 points. Side note, real quick, 70 points. I mean, hats off to Embiid. Karl Anthony Towns had what, 62, 63? And Minnesota lost, which is crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's see all these high scores. It's like, yes, God, they're better shooters. I'm sorry, you're not going to tell me that throughout the, make it sound like in the, even if you want to go into the 90s, very late 80s, in like through the 90s, but these guys were just shooting bricks. Yeah, they weren't shooting the percentage of threes, and you can say, okay, but I'm not going to say every single player is better shooters. I mean, yes, are some guys we know who they are. You've seen them, but nonetheless, I mean, wanting to play defense, Coach really talking about that, and you get some stops, you get some people to, buy it, and you get in on transition. And we heard, Jemiah Neal's post game with Jose Perez from Saturday saying that, hey, we don't want to, I don't want to run half court. Now, obviously they can, and they score out of it, but you're playing defense. Defense is your offense. And when you get that cue from your leader in Frankie Collins, your point guard that's doing it, and putting that effort out, it makes everybody else put that effort out. And, I mean, it's very, very huge to do. But yeah, I mean, Frankie Collins is all that to the team. So when you get, when you have a player like that, and how his shot has improved and gotten better, but he wants to get to the hoop. I mean, Coach Hurley's talked about and said, like, guys, I mean, defensively, and it's not rocket science, are you really going to try and step over a screen? Are you really going to try and step over when he wants to take it to the hoop? So fine, step over the screen, step over, because he will fly into the lane, and he's either going to get a very easy hoop or find the open guy for opportunity at a very wide open shot. So, yeah, I mean, the way he plays, and yeah, now what they have to do at Oregon. Heard it right there. So it's it is very awesome. And just, with the way Jose Perez plays, it lends it to it. Getting comfortable with Adam Miller, Sean Phillips Jr., getting that size, that length, and that talent back in the lineup is huge. Bryant Selabonge, talk about there, went 5 for 6 from the free throw line against SC. 9 offensive boards in the first half. I mean, that's just that's huge. And Jose Perez said it after Saturday's game, like he doesn't he won us the game in the first half. He doesn't realize that. And but you need to keep getting that effort. And we'll hear from Brian Selabonge tomorrow before the game. On tomorrow's show, we'll hear what he has to say about going up there. So I'm going to take another quick break. When I get back, though, guess what? We will meet some more newcomers from the football team, 2 guys that actually transferred in. So you're not going to want to go too far. We'll step aside. More action coming up here on Pitchfork Lunch.
Audio Jungle.
All right, back here on the Sports Arena. Hey, that is Monday nights, 10 o'clock Eastern. You know it. There with my brother of 18 years, Eric Wilson, sports reporter without pay, Ray Lynn, John Shear, Queen of Hoop, Megan Price, and if Big Guard decides to bless us with his presence, Ty Ray. Of course, he probably won't when if the Lions beat the Niners this week, but we got two Sun Devils going at it there. Two former teammates, Brandon Ayuk, Chase Lucas, Forks up. Man, again, it's just I want both of them to obviously do well. They've done very well this year, so gotta love that. But hey, speaking of football, I promised you, yes, we do have some more newcomers, and the first one, speaking of uber talented and again, just a beast on the field, was at USC and just, not thinking it was the fit, how they wanted to use him offensively, how he saw himself. But he is just for what Coach Dillingham wants to do. What he wants his offenses to do, the weapons that you need to have, we all know it. It is an awesome thing. It is an awesome thing to have, and you look at it, and this young man is when they got him, you see the highlights, the speed, the athlete. Yes, he can play in the slot, but as a running back, that's where Raleek Brown sees himself. But he can do both. He can flex out in this in Coach Dillingham's system. We all know it. We all totally know that he can do that. And that's one thing when you look at more weapons on the offense and what he might be able to do. It was very, awesome getting to talk with him. So, again, I'll let him introduce himself even more. But without further ado, here is Raleek Brown, who transferred in from USC to become a Sun Devil.
All right. Well, Raleek, welcome to Tempe, obviously. So, with the transfer portal and everything, ASU became the right fit for you. You come from USC, and Coach Dillingham's big. And I saw some of your comments when you got recruited, but they're big on telling the truth. Like, you're going to compete. Yeah, they want you here, but everything's going to be truth with him. They want people that want to be here. Outside of that, in dealing with Coach Dillingham, what made ASU the right fit for you?
What made ASU the right fit for me was like the coaching staff, the offense, like how Coach Iguana had running backs. He put running backs in the league, and Coach Dillingham put running backs in the league at Memphis. Like Coach Arroyo got a good what's the name? He know how to call offense.
Right.
Like he been in the league, been in a lot of colleges, so he got a good fit with offenses. So I feel like he's a good fit.
And I was going to say, what kind of led me there too. Coach Iguano, obviously had a lot of success at the high school level here. Came here, worked with running backs. Like you said, put them in the league. And as you got to talking to Coach Iguano, yeah, obviously in recruiting, coaches always see you guys have the talent, but as you know, as a player, you have to put in the work. But coming to work with Coach Iguano, and like you said, even within the offense and how they can use you, but specifically if you're working with Coach Iguano, what about him made him like the right fit, for a coach for you, but that ultimately also brought you here to ASU?
Like I said, just him. Like he good coach. He lets you play. He don't overcoach you. He just coach you the right things and so Coach Iguana been recruiting me since high school, and I just never I didn't think Arizona was the right fit for me at that time. So it's crazy that I'm here now. So everything worked out. So.
Yeah, no, he, like I said, knowing Coach Iguano for years, he'll, and as players you want, he'll push you, but you obviously see the results on the field. And when you look at the offense, last year, obviously, a tough year for the Devils. Everybody understands. And knock on wood, I mean, got crushed by injuries. But as much as coaches are recruiting you, you're obviously recruiting them. So when you're watching tape and yes, looking past the injuries, what did you see, obviously from an offensive standpoint, that you thought, okay, like I get the injuries, but this is why I click with this coaching staff? And obviously I'm not saying give away game plan, but just with how they run the offense and schemes and stuff like that, how do you feel that the more you watch tape of that and talk to the coaches that it was the right fit for you?
Cause like I said, like I feel like they would use me the right way. How we went over film on an official visit. How they use their running backs, just flex them out and just make mismatches. So like then I was watching them during the season. They gave teams problems. They even gave us problems. I didn't play. I redshirted, but I watched it on TV. They gave us problems like most of the game. So. And I feel like it was a good offense for sure. They just had a lot of injuries, like you said. Right. So,
and when you watch them on TV, I mean, and what they had to do to get to come over, and again, I've always believed. I mean, but from a running back position, less is more. Less can be a lot more for a running back. If you don't have to be on the field, say you're getting 70 snaps a game. If you don't have to be on the field for 55 and only 40 or 35, you could have bigger numbers.
Oh, yeah,
when you see a guy but my point is, when you see a guy like Cam Scatterby, all he did, because I joked around, I called him the locomotive and the punt, pass, and kick champ of the team last year.
Yeah.
But getting to play with somebody like a Cam, I mean, yeah, it's competition. It's not about, but from talking to you and even talking to him, it's not about taking carries away. It's working with them.
Yeah, for sure.
Looking at, and I know there's other running backs, but looking at a player like Cam, when you saw that, was that kind of intriguing to come play alongside him too?
Yeah, for sure was. Cam was good running back for sure, but we for sure different types of running back, and we play different. So, but like playing with him, we go learn from each other. We go take a lot from each other. So it's gonna be a good one for sure.
All right, so I know you've been here a little bit. You said maybe Arizona wasn't the right place earlier, but any one or two favorite food places so far that you've developed?
I ain't really been to nowhere like that's from Arizona, like a little special spot or nothing. But like I just been going like Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, just for right now. I ain't found no good food.
There's nothing wrong with Old Faithfuls. I call those two places Old Faithful. And then lastly, when you look at because obviously from running back it's huge, and Coach knew. I mean, they had to address the offensive line, but seeing the guys they brought in and seeing obviously Coach Iguano will be working with Coach like you said, like Coach T on the offensive line, because blocking schemes and this and that. But when you see the guys they brought in from the offensive line standpoint, or that they were targeting to get when they brought you in, was that something else that kind of sold you too?
Oh yeah, because some of them offensive linemen was on official visit with me. And they committed with me too.
Nice.
That weekend, so like that brought my attention too. So Coach Dillingham doing a nice job. He bringing a lot of people in, offensive linemen, safeties, corners, running backs, receivers. So like I think he putting it together and it look nice right now. So we just gotta put in the work and just go get it, really.
And then, I mean, from a transfer portal is different, but for the freshmen that that graduated early and came in, a lot of people, people were split. They say, man, you worked hard. Not that you're not going to keep training and working hard, but man, enjoy the rest of high school. Like, it's good. But how big do you feel it is for them to get into spring ball, and not even so much to get into spring ball for the schemes and stuff, whether they're playing offense or defense, but get on campus, start learning, hey, go to class, football, and all this to organize. How big do you feel that is for them and their growth?
That's a big advantage. I didn't do that, but I know people that did, and that's a big advantage because you basically get a head start on other players and people that's coming in trying to fight your job with you. So like you basically get a head start and you starting to get in the feel of it. So it's really a good one to do.
Absolutely. Well, that's a mic drop. We'll leave it on that.
And there he is, Raleek Brown. Again, you can see just even in talking to him during that and a little bit before and after, just like you said, working with Coach Iguano and knowing what the running backs have done, but playing with somebody, like Scatterby said, yeah, we're different, but you get multiple weapons on the field. You can flex out. You can have, extra tight ends. You can have extra tight ends or multiple backs and obviously multiple receivers. We understand that. But it is one of those things where, he definitely will have an impact on the offense. So I look very forward to that. And our last newcomer of the for today on today's show is a guy that's playing the position that literally touches at every offensive snap. No, not the center, the quarterback. You guys were going to say, I was going to say the center and mess with you, but yeah, Sam Levitt. And this young man, played as a true freshman at Michigan State, and he knows it's going to be competition. I've talked about it a million times. Don't need to go back down that. Coaches are that they're going to come here. You're going to come and compete. You're not going to be promised anything, and that is that. So without further ado, we are going to hear from the Michigan State transfer at quarterback, Sam Levitt, who will be doing battle with Jaden Rashada and, Trenton Bourguet's back for another year of college.
All right, Sam. Well, I got to say, cheating right there here, and obviously coming from East Lansing to Tempe. I mean, granted, Midwest weather. Even being from the East Coast, humidity and heat, it's a bummer. But this dry heat, what are you looking forward to about being out here? Obviously, spring ball will be great, but as it gets warmer, you guys get into summer and then fall camp.
No doubt. I'm definitely not get accustomed to it, so it's going to be a lot, but I'm ready for it all, and I'm just here for ball. So, whatever the weather is that. So I'm just here to get better.
And Coach Dillingham, he's talked about how he, and coaching staff, they're looking for the best guys. They're looking for guys that want to compete. They're not going to, and he said from the beginning, he's not promising anybody anything. Like, you want to come here and compete. People around here thought, oh, Jaden might take off because you're coming in. But just when a coach is selling that to you, obviously they see you have the talent. You got to come in and work to do it. But when they're talking to you like that, yeah, I'm guessing it's refreshing. But what did that mean to you? Just kind of the straight shooter approach, knowing that they want you here to compete, but it's still going to be a competition.
Yeah, anywhere you're going to go, you're going to have competition unless you've been a one-year starter and been proven. So obviously that's not the situation I'm in. So he's a straightforward person, and so is Dillingham. So hearing everything they had to say coming in, and it's definitely refreshing hearing that, because there's a lot of politics in this game, so a lot more than people really understand, I think. So yeah, it's definitely refreshing.
And they're obviously recruiting you, like I said, but you're recruiting them. Last year a tough year for them. But a ton of injuries. But when you're looking at tape and when you're looking at concepts and what they want to do, what they were saying, but in what you were watching, what made ASU the right choice for you?
Yeah, when I talked to Arroyo in person, the first thing we did when I got to dinner wasn't a normal conversation. We just talked ball for hours, which is, that's what I'm passionate for. So it's everything for him. He knows mechanics, he knows all these different systems. He's been around multiple different people. Has all these connects to the NFL teams. He runs a West Coast style offense. So it's just all those things together.
And then the offensive line, obviously that was the issue last year, not because of talent, but because of the injuries. Bringing in guys, and obviously as a quarterback, you want to be surrounded by an offensive line. They seem to have brought in depth, and I'm curious to know from your standpoint as a quarterback, in years back, if a guy was a tackle, he was a tackle. If you had to move him to guard, you were kind of protecting him, or vice versa. Anything like that. But as you've seen the game grow and you've played in it, but when they're bringing in guys that, okay, he could play guard, he could play tackle. If this guy has to, he could really play center. How much more comfort does that give you as a quarterback, knowing that with depth, and if guys have to come in, you're really not taking a step back?
Yeah, as a lineman, you're gonna have to know every single run blocking scheme, pass blocking scheme about the whole line, because you have to work with the people around you. So, it's definitely comforting knowing that people know all that. It's pretty complicated. I don't think O-line gets enough credit for that, but it's a pretty complicated position. But just seeing what they can do through spring ball and continuing to learn every day and being around them.
And then quarterbacks want to have weapons. Obviously there was quite a few here last year that, some transfer, but for guys that stayed that did pretty well. You're seeing who they bring in too. Just your overall thought of, obviously without giving game plan away and what I know you guys talked a teeny bit about it, but how do you feel that weapons-wise that, what do you feel this offense could look like?
We could be really, really special. You know, I haven't been on the field out with anybody yet, but I've watched a lot of players' tape and been around them. So, you know, we've got a lot of talent around here, and we can be really dynamic. So I'm just excited to get to Springwell and see what we can really be.
How much do you feel like you can develop here at ASU?
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole reason I came here, you know, so I feel like I can become the best player I can here, and that's the whole reason I'm here, you know, being around Coach Arroyo and dealing with him every day, and I'm just asking them, you know, what does it take to be that first-round draft pick? So, you know, just I feel like I can become the best version of myself here.
What specific parts of your game are you looking to improve?
Yeah, I feel like from last year, you know, being a new quarterback and a freshman, 18 years old, being, you know, around grown men, I feel like the biggest thing for me was I felt like I had to flee the pocket a little early, so that for sure. Pre-snap stuff, seeing blitzes, and I feel like I'm pretty good in terms of that. Post-snap would probably be a little bit different. Just seeing stuff, you know, seeing one step a player might take and automatically knowing what coverage they're going to be in and everything in terms of that. So, you know, there's obviously going to be a lot of growth in a lot of aspects, but I'd say those are the main ones.
And then what's your off-season work look like so far?
Yeah, just doing all the workouts with the team, and then I do all my throwing stuff on my own. So I'll do, you know, all my back mobility stuff and, you know, weighted ball stuff, throwing with the players. So, yeah, I like the strength staff a lot, though. So they're gonna be right.
And with the fun stuff, ball side. So have you found a few, one or two favorite food spots yet?
I don't know if I know the names of them. I've only been here a little bit. Right. I kind of just eat here, and then with we have red card at night, so I just eat that. But I don't know, maybe soon. I like Coach Arroyo is a part of Fat Ox and the Mission, so I haven't been to the Mission yet, but Fat Ox was really good out in Scottsdale.
And you said you had a conversation with Coach Arroyo over dinner. You went into that briefly, but what was that like, kind of just getting to meet him, and what were your first impressions of him and what he's going to bring here as well?
Yeah, you know, he's a straight shooter. He's really passionate about the game, you know, so obviously you have to be at the level where he's at. So that was my first impression of him, and getting to sit down and talk ball with him, and, you know, everything from mechanics to, you know, scheme to, you know, players he's been around to coaches he has relationships with and all that. So, yeah, I mean, I just love everything he's about.
How excited are you for this quarterback battle coming up through?
And you hear Sam Levitt right there. I mean, he knows it's going to be a battle, but saying the right things. And I mean, yeah, not too bad. Fat Ox and Mission. So if he can, it's a start there. No, but look, it's going to be a hell of a competition. And we saw what Rashada could do, and he got here. Yes, he got here early last spring or early last year for the spring. So that was. That, I mean, it is huge. And you heard Malik Brown say it right there. Like, he didn't do it, but for guys that have done it, it's a good thing. Chris Johnson II, we met him yesterday. If you missed it, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Saying that, you know, talking with, you know, his parents, his mom, you know, basically about a month going back and forth on enrolling early, but he did. And he's out here now and, you know, getting used to the weight room too. I thought about getting used to classes and campus. And yes, that is obviously extremely important, but the weight room, getting in the weight room, being able to, you know, gain weight and, you know, well, not so much just gain weight, but like strength and doing different workouts and at the college level. So that part absolutely huge. So, yeah, that's Sam Levitt. He'll be battling Jaden Rashada, obviously Trenton Bourget. Not going to throw him out of the mix either with, again, Rashada and Bourget both knowing obviously this offense and, you know, their second go round of it. So that's where we are. That's where we are from there. It's exciting. Like I said, Levitt, I mean, started at Michigan State, and now it's crazy because he transfers, but Jonathan Smith, the Oregon State coach who had got that extension, and of course everything that went down, he got the head coaching job at Michigan State. So the carousel goes round and round, right? But yeah, that's Sam Levitt, Raleek Brown. Again, if you're just jumping on and you're like, wait, Sam Levitt, Raleek Brown, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC 005 on YouTube. Subscribe. anything you want to hit me up with, again, thoughts, someone you might like to see on the show, you can hit me up on X at Diablo00, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Yes, that is X. But yeah, at Diablo00, hit me up there. I'm going to get out of here. I will see you tomorrow. We'll hear from Brian Salabange ahead of their battle, the men's team's battle with Oregon. We'll talk tennis and golf as well. And we'll meet another newcomer from the football team, whether it be an early enrollee or a transfer portal star. You'll just have to tune in to find out. So I will see all of you tomorrow. Have a most phenomenal rest of your, and this is for my mom. Mike, what day is it? Yes, it is Wednesday. It is hump day. So anyway, my mom still does that till this day. Bless her heart. Love her to pieces. But yes, that is that. So I'm going to get out of here. Everybody have a most phenomenal rest of your Wednesday. I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. And yes, you know it, Sun Devil Nation. As always, forks up.
Terry's three.
Johnny Walker matching up against control. His shot. Bruce Hurley scores. They tie the game up 2-2.
Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edward pulls off. And buries it. Daniels takes the shot.